Hey, hello folks. We're going to try an old suit up varsity game in a new format. We're going to try videos about the greatest athlete ever at different schools. Okay, so where do we start? Well, I took our list of nicknames, our list of schools. It's nearly 800 schools big, and I ran it through the random generator, and it said we should start with the Bloomington Wampus Cats. All right, that's a pretty good start. Bloomington is in Franklin County, down the southwest corner near Republican City. It is on the Republican River. It was open until 1967. They built a beautiful brick schoolhouse in 1925, really helped the longevity of a school that was very small throughout its history, almost always in the smallest classification. Not always. A couple years they creeped up. I think it was 1937 and 1957. They made it up to the next smallest class. So that means most of the history is going to be boys basketball and track. The Wampus Cats tried to play six-man football in the 40s. Not a ton of success. The school board finally nixed that in 1951 when they were really getting low on boys. In fact, they couldn't play district basketball in 1952. Now, before we start talking athletes and great teams, let's talk Wampus Cats. What the heck is a Wampus Cat? Well, Wampus Cats is kind of a mythical superpower cougar. Sometimes it's shown with six legs. Yeah, a great nickname. A great nickname. All right. They were orange and black. All right. Greatest athletes. The first place people usually look for Bloomington on greatest athletes is the 1927 basketball team that won a game at the state tournament. They went to several all-comers tournaments, never won a game. In 1927, they beat Elgin 9-8. Now, the Elgin would probably have been the Flying Dutchman at that time and not the Eagles. Wampus Cats versus Flying Dutchman, we're missing that kind of nickname beauty in the state. But they lost to Juanita in the next round. It was Class I. I'm not really sure that was the greatest team. 1932, they had their best finish ever in the Franklin County tournament. And in 32, they beat everybody but Hildreth. Hildreth, of course, the power of the county, and had a good run. They also had a good athlete that year, Paul Hathaway, who ends up getting just nosed out at state track in the half mile. So there's a GOAT candidate, Paul Hathaway of 1932. But then I think you got to look at 1931. Remember, 1931's the big all-class tournament. Everybody's in one class. The Wampus Cats, Bloomington went to Alma and won that district. They were district champions, their only district basketball championship in school history. Then they went to the Kearney Regional, won a game, and then ran into Kearney in the second round and got beat by the team that would eventually win the regional and go to state. So a pretty good team there. But I really think we want to drill down on 1929. Now, they finished third in the county tournament that year, but they pushed Hildreth in the semis. They only lost 24-22 to the basketball capital of Nebraska, right? And Hildreth ends up winning. Hildreth handles Franklin in the final. Bloomington had beaten Franklin pretty bad early in the year. I think Bloomington's definitely the second best team in the county. They don't go to the state tournament that year. I don't know why, but they had a star, 6'2", Vern Colmel. Okay, 6'2". You walk around at 6'2" in 1929. People are noticing you. And Vern in the spring then goes down to state track and he wins the 220, becomes the only state champion in Bloomington high school history. He finishes fourth in the 100 to be their only two-time track medalist too. So basketball star, track star, what I think is their greatest team. Vern Colmel is my greatest Bloomington Wampus Cat of all time. Now, if you want to argue with me about Vern, okay, or you want to suggest what school should be next in this video series, get in the comments, however that works, hit those buttons. I don't know. We're new to this at Suiting Up Varsity. Thanks for joining us. I don't know what we're going to call this. We're going to call this maybe Who is the Greatest, or Want to Start a Fight. I don't know what we're going to call this video series, but that was Bloomington.